Shaquille O'Neal, who was a 10-time All-NBA and 2 of them were first team, 11-time All-Star, 3-time champion, and one of the most dominant players the game has ever seen. When he got to Miami in 2004, he was still that guy, and everybody knew it, and so did Gary Payton. But Payton started to see Shaq getting frustrated that the team wasn't getting him the ball enough. And instead of letting it fester and not say anything about it, he pulled Shaq to the side and said it straight. Look at what young fella did last year. Speaking of Dwayne Wade, you see how he took over stuff? You guys lost in the Eastern Conference Finals. That's why Pat came and pulled us all together. He wanted a championship. We're here now. We got to stop this, man. We're going to make him be the first here. That was an uncomfortable conversation. You're telling one of the greatest players who have ever played, the guy with 3 rings, the MVP, the highlight reel that never ends, that this is not his team anymore? But Shaq listened. He accepted the hard truth. And then by the 2006 finals came, they were down 0 to Dallas. And Shaq was getting double team and triple team every possession. He couldn't really get off like that. So he took time and turned away and said, hey, man, what are you going to do? You want to be a star? You want to be like Kobe? This is your time. Forget Shaq and go to work. Wade went off, took over the rest of the finals, and closed it out in game 60. He won 4 straight games, brought it home to win the first championship in franchise history. That all started with one uncomfortable conversation in the locker room that most people never heard about. The truth Gary Payton told Shaq wasn't easy to hear, but Shaq was secure enough to receive it, humble enough to act on it, and the result was the championship. Now you got to ask yourself, are you coachable enough to hear what you need to hear this summer? Because the hard truth somebody tells you today might be the reason you make the team in November. So I'm here today to give you a handful of uncomfortable truths that a lot of players probably don't want to hear, probably won't accept, but the few that will, the few that'll take on to this, it'll be a game changer for you. So number one is stop trying to be like everybody, man. Get to a point where you know yourself, and you know your game. Like you aren't willing to sit back and think through your game and ask yourself the hard questions. You want to just copy and paste what the coaches tell you. You want to copy and paste what trainers online telling you to do. You just want to copy and paste what you see the NBA players or college players doing for the workouts. But by you chasing all these different plays and trying to steal everything from everybody, you never really find you in your game. Like you have to sit down and figure out what makes the most sense for you. What makes your game better. So if you're built like Luca but trying to play like Russell Westbrook, that doesn't make sense. If you're built like Westbrook and trying to play like Luca, does that make the most sense? And you might be in a situation where you're trying to be like players you see in your area, or maybe you're chasing the highlights that you see guys on with overtime or House of Highlights or whatever else you see on social media. It's cool to be inspired from them, but you don't want to be chasing them and try to be like those guys on the rankings and on those tiers. It's not your game. So instead of trying to be like everybody else, take time to find your game. The younger you are, the more open you should be to just trying to be be yourself, but still chase the bigger picture of what you see what's possible. Like you have less limitations on you because your game is so moldable the younger you are. And as you get older, you fine tune your game to be a little more specific to your role. So at some point, you realize you are a guard. At some point, you realize you are a big. So you can start to mold your game off of that. But the younger you are, man, just be yourself and have fun and just go chase greatness rather than trying to chase these stats or trying to be like somebody else. Just be great. Second hard truth is getting shiny object syndrome and getting distracted, trying to do every drill and do every program. I love that you're ambitious and wanting to uh, be great, but at some point you have to lock down on like, okay, I want to get great at this specific thing and just do that. I'm not saying don't get different trainers. I'm not saying don't try different drills. I'm not saying don't buy different programs. But what I am saying is it's hard for you to really get gains, see growth, and see progress if you're not going to progress through the program. So you can't buy 10 different programs in one summer and try to use all of them. Buy one for your body, buy one for your skills, and call it a day. That's your whole summer workout. Especially if it runs you through that whole program, that whole duration, just run that and let it run its course. Because if they did a good job with their program, it's going to progress you and get you better. So if you bought the Brianna Garza Shoot training app, just do the shooting training program. Don't try to do hers and then this players and then this guys and that players and hers. Just stick with hers for the summer. If you want to get better with your body, and you bought this program for it, just use that one. You don't have to go crazy and try to do everybody's program at the same time. Just calm down. You're not going to miss out by not doing everybody's program at the same time. Just give that program, give that whatever it is that you're working with, give it space to let it just work. You don't have to chase every single deal of trying to get every single trainer's thing, whatever they're offering you. Relax and just let the work do the work. All right. Third is you don't avoid your weakness. You lean into it. You avoid your failures. So instead of leaning into it and just accepting that's going to come part of it, you're trying to be you're trying to be perfect and avoiding the mistakes. But you have to ask yourself, do I want to be perfect or do I want to improve? Do I want to be perfect or do I want to make progress? So you get to the point where you want to train in your comfortable zone. You don't want to train ugly, and being ugly or training ugly is how you actually get better. You want to work on your strengths and the things that make you look good. But you don't want to do things that actually improve your game, because if you're just training how to make a right hand layup and you know you want to do that because it makes you look good, but you're scared to train ugly and because you don't know how to come off the left yet, how are you going to get better? So now when you get to the season and the players are playing you to your left and coach not playing you because you know how to go to your left, you can't really be too mad at the coach now. You just have to accept that sometimes I'm going to have to sit here and take the ugly looks, the ugly losses. Somebody might be side eyeing me, questioning if you can play, but that's how you get better. You don't want to train decision making and training and train ugly to train to be adaptive because it looks ugly. It's not the sexy part of training, but that's what training is for you to get better. It's not always going to look good. It's not always going to look sexy. You're not always going to be perfect, but embrace all of it because that's actually how you get better. The full truth is that don't make the game your identity, man. Like, take time off. Make sure that you use the game and the game is not just using you. So let me tell you a secret, man. Everybody around you is using you. Okay. And they're going to keep using you. It's your trainers. They're using you to boost their business. The coaches are using you to boost their programs or their organizations. Your friends might try to use you to make you look cool and be like, yeah, that's my friend. AU coaches and programs are going to use you, and the organization is going to use you to sell the dream of their tournament or their whatever is going to be the key to getting exposure because they want to make money. So all these different entities around the game are going to be using you for their content or whatever it is. So if they're going to use you and squeeze you out like a lemon, why not use the opportunities to better yourself too? But you don't want to do that in a sense of making the game your everything, because if you make the game your everything and they use you how they want to, at the end, you don't get anything of it because you don't have a bigger picture. You don't have a bigger game plan. You just kind of left out there by yourself now. So accept that the game is going to use you. People are going to use you. But the key is to be used for better, and accept that it's going to be better, but make sure they don't abuse you. You want to be used because if you're used, that means you provide value. That if you want to be used, that means you are valuable. That's a good thing to be used. You know, God gave us all gifts, and we are a gift to the world. And so, in order for us to be used, we have to present ourselves to other people. The same way that you use other people for benefits, you want to be used in the same way. The key is not to be manipulated and be strung out to where, at the end of the day, you're just empty and left with nothing. So don't make the game your identity to where you're too wrapped up into it and you don't see the bigger picture of things. But don't get to a point where you sit back and it's like, oh man, everybody just use me for my talents and for my game. Everybody's going to deal with that. But you have to make sure that you're using the game too. You're going to make sure that at worst case scenario, you're getting free education. Use that. Everybody's not going to make it to the NBA. Utilize getting that free education. Utilize the exposure of what social media can get you to set you up to set yourself up for something else down the road too. The next uncomfortable truth is that as much as I talk about being a hard worker and having a high work ethic, you can have the great work ethic and have these goals, but you're not real about the work to get there. It's like you have the goal of being a D1 player, but you don't have the level of D1 work ethic. Or you get to a situation where you're a 5'5", for my guys, if you're a 5'5" guard, it's a real tough ass to be like, I'm going to be a D1 guard and make it to the league. Versus a 6'4" guard, it's better. But if you're like a 6'4" player in high school and you've been playing center your whole life, that's tough, man. because 6'4" is a one or a two at the next level at the D1 programs. So for you to sit here and think, yeah, I'm a 6'4" center in high school, and you have a high chance of playing D1 basketball, it's like mm, let's be real about this. So it's cool, dream big, follow through big. You put all the work ethic into it all you want to, but if you're not real about what some level of what the world has around you, it's going to be crazy for you to do. It's going to be a torment for you to really get that down. Like you can dream of being a this level player and that level player, but if your work ethic doesn't match it and just being real, like the optics of it being real, especially talk about being like a 5'5" guard or a 6'4" center, is very slim. Not saying it's impossible, but it's very slim. We've seen outliers in that case. So I'm not trying to tear down your dream, but I don't want you to smack down on the ground when you fall from how high your dreams are and you fall down to reality. I don't want that fall to be that hard. Just giving you that little bit of comfort truth. Number 6 for uncomfortable truths, your environment is going to drown you. You're going to let your friends and your teammates hold you back because you're trying to work out and train. You're trying to better your game. You want to do all these things to work out and get better. But your friends are chilling. Your friends don't want to work that hard. Your teammates don't really do all this stuff. Your friends want to go out on weekends, and you're going to let them drown you and hold you back. You want to fit in. You want to be popular, but to be outstanding, you have to stand out. That means you have to be removed from the group. You have to be separated from them. You have to get around people that want to push you to be great, and sometimes even drag you. Sometimes, like, man, you only get out of bed. Too bad. We're going anyway. You tired from getting shots up. Too bad. We're going to go train anyway. But you're gonna let your environment drown you. You're gonna let some coaches get into your head and get into your ear and hold you back. I've heard too many stories of players being around terrible coaching that's held them back and been their downfall of their career. But I want you to know you have more power than that than what you think you do. Don't let that coach hold you back, man. Don't let the negative talk that they have about you, how crazy they talk about you, them hating on you, not giving you opportunities to get exposed, knowing about camps and clinics, knowing about this coach been calling on you. I heard too many stories about it. So I'm telling you now, do what you can to get away from that coach, remove from that coach, and get around different people who are going to better you and be a positive environment to let you grow and do what you need to do. Uncomfortable truth number 7, man, is that you're only training during the off season. You only look at time to train during the off season. Like you think improvement can only happen during the summer, and the rest of the year you don't really work on anything. You just take time during the summer, during this little pockets you have, like 2 months out of the year, you really want to train, maybe 3. Even be nice and give you 4, but that's not enough. Like, don't think practice with the team is going to be enough to truly make you grow by a large margin. Like, every player in that practice is doing something. Some are being more deliberate and more intentional with the practice to see if they're going to get better. And coaches have a tendency to kind of give more time to the starters and players, so they're going to get better by that. So if you're not in the group that's giving more favoritism by the coach, if you're not going to take every opportunity you can in practice to get better, you have to get time outside that to get better. But most players aren't doing that because you're only getting better during the summer. It's hard to really grow your game if you're only training during the summer. So it's your choice, man. If you really want to get better and truly grow your game, the summer cannot be the only time to train and you want to work out. You have to make this pretty much a year-round commitment, especially if you're in college or you're at a point in high school where you're committed to learn basketball. You have to grow and progress and treat it like it's your job now, because it pretty much is, especially at college level. You're getting paid for it now. But you want to be comfortable on training during the off season. That's tough, man. It's tough. Another uncomfortable truth is you're not going to grow, but it's not because you're not putting the work in, it's because you're measuring the wrong things. So you're focusing on stats and your Instagram likes and all this other stuff instead of actually getting it better and actually making improvement. You're trying to chase highlights rather than actually building a solid game. You're trying to chase the Instagram reels than actually getting better at what college coaches are looking at. And it's like a pretty girl with makeup, but when you talk to her, it's like, bro, what are we doing here? So you get to a point where okay, good highlights, the stats seem cool, but you actually go watch the game. There's no real game here. You just snowboarding the whole time, or basically you're not playing defense, or it's a bunch of fast break stuff. You're not really scoring and getting buckets. But that's what you want to have. You want to have the stuff that looks good. You just got straight highlight dunks, and you're not playing against actual talent, actual tough competition. And it's tough to get better and really prove your game if that's all you're doing. So measure yourself by the work ethic you put in that actually gets you improvement. Measure yourself by the real opportunity that you have in front of you and capitalizing on it. It's cool to have the good stats. You need the stats too. I'm not saying don't have the stats. I'm not saying don't have the Instagram views. I'm not saying don't have highlights. But you really want to have actual game behind it. It's like the packaging up front looks good, but then the stuff inside the box looks terrible. You don't want to be that player. Which you're probably going to be because that's what you've been chasing so far. And after this, you're not going to change. So whatever. Uh, the next thing that's going to be tough for you to deal with is that you're going to let your impatience and your pride be the ruin of you. Because you're so hungry to be so great that you're not gonna sit down and actually take the time to practice and train like you need to. You're gonna let your pride get in the way. Talking about earlier of man, I don't wanna look bad. I want to make sure that I train perfect. That could be pride, man. You're gonna let the fact of you not being patient to let the work do its work. Let time do what time gonna have to do. You're gonna mess all that stuff up trying to shortcut, trying to skip steps, and you're gonna let all that be the ruin of you. Man, I want to be great so bad. That's great that you want to be great, but you have to actually put in the work and let time do its thing. By the time next year rolls around, next year's going to roll around. There's nothing going to skip steps of it. It's going to be 365 days from time you listen to this next year. It's going to be 12 months, 52 weeks that pass, no matter what. So why not go ahead and put in the work each day like you need to, rather than trying to skip steps? Because then you have to go back at some point and relearn those lessons. So why not go ahead and get it right the first time and have a name of excellence with you, when they're just being impatient and just running through stuff? Like, why learn this lesson two, 3 times to get it right the first time? But you're gonna let your impatience, let your pride get the best of you. But that's cool. It's all good, man. Everybody's not gonna do this stuff and be great. It's fine. But we're gonna roll on to number 10 is that recovery matters. I don't care how much you think you're gonna work, your level of work ethic. At some point, you have to recover. You have to rest. Being restful, taking a break and having rest is not being lazy. Your body actually gets better doing rest and not actually doing training. When you're training and working out, your body is breaking down, like your muscles are breaking down, and the rest is actually what builds and repairs you. And you have to really take time to let, like, mentally, when you learn new skills, like it's doing the work, doing the skill, but then your brain has to get into this spot where you can rest and relax and like let the information sit and settle. And same thing if you're lifting and training and working out. Your muscles getting broken down and torn down during the training that actually repairs and grows during the rest. Everything about the rest is great for us, but you're not going to recover because you think it's being lazy. And or you thinking that being busy is the same thing as improving. That's not true. You can be busy all day and not get better. But here's the thing. If you don't rest, you're increasing the chance of you being injured. You're decreasing your performance. You're increasing the chance of you getting burnt out. And then your gains is going to hit like a plateau where like you get better, and it just cuts off right there, and you stop getting better. You probably get worse, like I said, performance drops, but you're too scared to rest. And you know what's crazy about this too? The best players in the game, the best players in the world, take rest very. Man, I'm taking. LeBron takes naps. Steph Curry takes naps. They're big on taking naps and getting off their feet, relaxing, recovering, all that stuff. Are you better than them that you can't rest and recover? These guys make sure they're eating right, their recovery, their sleeps, their naps. They take all this stuff very seriously. But you think you're too good to rest and recover? Is that what this is? I just want to know where you guys' heads at. So the best players in the world, some of these are the best players of all time, and they take their rest seriously. But you're not. That's cool. All right, but we're going on to number 11. What got you here won't keep you here. I know that hurts because you feel like, man, I figured out the recipe to get to this point, but you hear it all the time of like, man, a player did all this work to get to varsity. Then you're on varsity, it's like, ooh, it's a different beast out here. Made it all the way through high school, get to college. Man, this college level is totally different. I had to change and increase how I work and train. I had to be a little bit smarter, man. I made the college, now I'm in the pros. I'm overseas. I had to readapt and reevaluate what it means to be a true player at this level. So what got you there, I'm not gonna keep you there. You have to keep working and work at a different level, work smarter, work harder, increase what you've been doing to truly get better and make the next level gains, next level of progress. Number 12 is that you're not gonna train your mind. Whether it's your IQ, your basketball IQ, or your EQ, emotional intelligence. Like you're not going to train that stuff. You're not going to train how to be confident. You're not going to train your consistency, your discipline, your time management. You're not going to train how to evaluate pick and rolls. You're not going to do all the mental stuff. If it's boring to you, you feel like you're too good for it. You feel like it doesn't matter. You're not going to train your mind. That's fine. But you know what? The mental piece is one of the biggest pieces that separate players because I can outthink you. I can be hurt. I can have an off game. But if I can outthink you, there's a good chance I can outplay you. So you're going to get outplayed because you don't take the mental game seriously enough. And it's funny because road to number 13 is that hard work does not guarantee results. You can work your butt off, man. Like you can train all summer and still not make the team. You can do everything right and still get benched. You can follow the plan. You can do everything I laid out for you during this 5 episode series breakdown of how to get better during the off season perfectly to a T and still get overlooked. But that doesn't mean stop working. That doesn't mean that you're trying to get the outcome. No, you want to work to get progress. You want to work to get better, not just the outcome. But you want to make sure that you're focused on controlling what you can control, which is your effort, your attitude, how consistent you are, and making sure you're getting improvements. So don't control or complain about what you can't control. You can't control your playing time. You can't control the selection of who you're working with and working around. You can't control other people's decisions, aka the coach. You have to control what you can't control. And it hurts. But if you can find peace and accept that you did what you could, you control what you can control, you can live with the results a lot better than that. If you did everything in your power to be as great as you can be, you find a little more peace in just knowing that I did what I could. And it just happened to happen. It's fine with that. But the biggest thing of overall, I kind of hinted at this throughout this whole thing. Number 14 is that you're not going to execute. You're going to keep scrolling on IG, keep scrolling on YouTube, trying to find more drills, trying to find next trainer's blueprint, the next trainer's secret success, the next NBA player's YouTube vlog, whether it's Ant-Man, Steph Curry stuff, whoever it is. You're just gonna keep scrolling. You just watched a 5-part series on how to train, structure your workouts, how to prepare, and most players won't do it. And that's fine. It's completely fine because the handful that's going to execute, they're going to put IG down. They're going to get off YouTube and go put in the work and do what's been said. Or you're going to hit me with well, I'm just too busy this summer to train. I've been too busy playing this and doing that. All this I'm too busy stuff is getting to the point where it's excuse. It's like you really got to prioritize what you want. If you truly want to get better at the game and maximize what it can, you have to find time and make time. And I think the hard part for this too is like if you have a trainer and you rock with them, if them having a different plan for what you have for yourself. Like you have to get on one accord with your trainer or your coach to make sure you guys are on the same page of how you get better. So I want you guys to make sure like this episode, you start executing now. You want to put the plan to work. Go rewatch what you have to from this series. Go put in the work though. Like you have to start doing something. Go watch one episode, put in what you can, but when I get stuck, gotta go to the next one. Come back, watch it, tweak it, add this, do that, and boom, whatever you have to do. But I don't want to hear any excuse, oh, I'm too busy. I didn't have time to do it. I gave you a full layout of how to do this stuff to make your schedule fit for you and what you have going on, how to structure, how to train, all this stuff. But most players aren't going to do it. They're going to watch this. And it's a cool video. This is a cool episode. I like this. I like this podcast. It's cool. And then do nothing. So the ones who actually do it, they're the ones who are going to make the team. They're the ones who are going to get recruited, the ones who level up. Not because they're just so much better of their talent, but because they're more committed. They care about the game a little bit more. They understand, I mean, I can take a vacation, but I got to come back and work and train too. But this right here, everything I'm talking about is bigger than ball. It's bigger than basketball. This is a life lesson. At this point in the world and society and our history, we don't have a lack of information. It's not like we don't know what to do. But the things that will separate you is being able to execute on this and at least try. Being bold enough to just try and do stuff. That's what's going to separate people in the coming future, like now and then moving forward. It's AI, Google, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. We all have access to the information. You just search and find it and you're good to go. So at the end of the day, it's going to be coming down to who can execute, who can put in the work. So at the end of off season, man, your results going to be a reflection of your commitment, of what you've been willing to do, not just how talented you are, not your environment, circumstances, but not your potential, but your actual work to get to your goals. And if you've been disappointed about the result that you have, then you know what to do, man. Like I gave you the framework, I gave you the structure, I gave you the schedule, I gave you the risks to avoid, like why people fail. And here I gave you the hard truth that a lot of people will avoid and kind of skate around. But the question is now, what are you going to do with all the information? Because knowing something and doing something totally different. The Bible says, with all you're getting of knowledge and information, gain understanding. There's wisdom, there's understanding, there's knowledge. Knowledge is information. Understanding is kind of comprehending and knowing what that information is, but wisdom actually applying it. It's action. So your off season is a chance to control your future, gain more wisdom, and be a better you for future sake. Most players are going to waste it, but I want you to make sure that you dare to be different. Appreciate you for watching. Appreciate you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this series. See you next video.